24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Africa nakupenda sana ngo. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that when you hear that sound, you have a date with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. I'm super, super excited. You know, we're talking about Africa nakupenda sana. I'm broadcasting live from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. You know, Africa has got, beautiful names. We know South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation. But you know what we call, or what they call Ethiopia? Ethiopia is the land of origin. That's what they say. What a beautiful, beautiful country. I'm here for 5 days and I'm loving it. But yeah, well, tonight it's not about talking about Ethiopia, but we know on the African Experience, we bring you exciting stories. We bring you stories of people who have made it, people who are hustling, people who are trailblazers, people who are really changing the narrative of an African child. And I'm super, super excited. You know, normally I'm not alone. I'm always with my co-host, Mandla Aventina Mabunda. Yeah. So I'm so excited because the guest that we are bringing tonight, it's somebody who's working in the space that I'm working in. And it's such a funny thing. I'll introduce her right now, but it's such a funny thing because for the first time, I will be calling her doctor. And it feels a little bit weird because, just not so long ago, I wasn't calling her doctor, and suddenly she's a doctor, and I'm super excited to learn about her journey. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome our beautiful, beautiful guest for tonight, Dr. Alina Ntsiapane. Alina, welcome to the African Experience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hlami. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
It feels so interesting to be calling each other doctor,
I know, especially for me, because I'm not used to being called a doctor. So having to be called a doctor, sometimes I'm like, okay, yes, that's me. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to talk about that because you know how I follow you on social media and you just look so beautiful on that red gown. But we will talk about that very shortly. Maybe tell our listeners who is Alina in the nutshell. Maybe just introduce yourself. Who are you in the nutshell? Where do you come from? And how do you identify yourself?
Okay, thank you so much. Alina is a girl from Kroonstad, and Kroonstad is a small town here in Free State. I am an agricultural specialist. I have a PhD in sustainable agriculture. I studied here at the University of the Free State in South Africa, and I also did some short courses as well with the University of Florida. I have passion for agriculture, basically, for international development, policy development, climate management, and agricultural trading. I enjoy traveling abroad, learning about other people's culture. I love food. And yes, that's me in general.
Beautiful, beautiful story. And I feel very connected with you. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe just as a disclaimer, I have to go a step back where we first met. You know, we met at the University of Free State, where she was studying and I was a lecturer back then, and she was my student. And you were doing your master's, right?
Yes, that was in 2019.
Yes, and beautiful, beautiful. The last time I saw you, you were doing your master's, and suddenly, fast forward, and we are in 2024, we are talking to a doctor. For me, that is a very, very inspiring story. And we'll talk a little bit about that, what inspired you and all that. But before we do that, let's go back to agriculture because you talk about you're an agricultural expert and things like that. Maybe let me start by asking you what inspired you to actually maybe follow a career in agriculture, or maybe let us not start there. Let's look at your educational background in general. Where did you study and all that, but what inspired you to actually follow a career in agriculture?
Okay. So I started studying at the University of Free State, and that was in 2015. I
Mm-hmm.
did my undergrad in agricultural management.
Mm-hmm.
That was for 3 years, and immediately after it, I did my honors in agriculture. And in 2019, I then transformed and then did my master's in sustainable agriculture and
Mm-hmm.
continued to do my PhD in sustainable agriculture. And then when I moved to the US last year, I also did short courses with University of Florida. I was more interested also in climate management, the impact that it has on agriculture. So I did climate management course with them, and also the how to produce vegetables in hydroponics. So what
Absolutely.
encouraged me to actually start to study agriculture was the love
Mm-hmm.
that I have for nature. I love working with nature, and I also wanted to resolve the challenges that are facing the world, such as food security, hunger. A lot of people are dying of hunger, while other people are actually like wasting food, So to try to come up with solutions that will help to improve the food security globally, not just in South Africa. I thought, why not do agriculture? But actually, before I studied agriculture. The funny thing is, I wanted to do medicine. That was
Okay.
my number one, actually. That was when I was in high school. And
Okay.
I remember there's this holiday, it's around April, I think, or around May, where it's called Take a Girl Child to Work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was selected in my school so that I could go spend a day with a doctor, and that was like a dentist by then. And then,
Mm.
yeah, which was really good. I'm so happy I got that opportunity because when I came back, I was expected to write a report about my
Mm.
experience. What did I enjoy? What did I learn? How do I feel? And surprisingly, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm sorry, medicine is not for me. I was so emotional. I couldn't focus on what was being done, looking at the person being in pain. I was like, I don't want to spend my everyday like this. And that's when I decided, okay, what other thing besides like medicine do I want to do? And that was agriculture.
Wow, that is a very, very interesting, turnaround, from medicine and suddenly that exposure told you, I don't want to do medicine anymore. I'll go to agriculture. Yeah, let me welcome, my co-host Mandla Aventina Wakamavuna. Mandla, good evening, my sister. Hey, listen to the person that we are talking to tonight.
Good evening, Doc. I'm loving the smile of our host, the beautiful doctor. Talk about beauty with way to
Oh,
inspired. I just love his story. And yeah, I can't wait, Doc. No, so welcome to our beautiful guest. We are looking forward to having a great chat with you.
Yeah, but
thank you
Mandla,
so much
I
for
was
having
just I was just asking her about, what inspired her to actually follow her dreams in agriculture. She wanted to be a medical doctor. After the exposure, she was like, this is not, the space for me. And she ventured into agriculture because she loves nature. I thought, that is such a beautiful, beautiful story. So, Dr. Alina Mandla and I we work in the agri-food space, actually the value chain. I work in the agro space, and then Mandla is more on the agro processing, nutrition, and things like that. It's really, really beautiful. One
That's
thing
interesting.
that we one thing that we know is that a lot of people equate agriculture to primary production. When you say, I work in the agricultural sector, people look at you and say, are you a farmer? Do you experience that as well? And how would you explain what agriculture is beyond just primary production?
I experienced that a lot, and I even get questions like, why did you decide to study? If you want to go farming, you can just go straight and farm. Why do you want to study how to farm while you can just do it without studying? So I get a lot of questions like that. Um, you know, what I can say to people who are thinking that agriculture is just about production is that agriculture is deeper than that, is deeper than production, which is the primary level of agriculture, because we start with production. And then from production, there is processing, which is also part of agriculture. And we also have research side of agriculture. We also have the banking side of agriculture. There's so many sectors or departments in agriculture. So it's not only about going in the field and getting dirty. No, there's also other people who are still in agriculture who don't even go to the fields at all, who are just working in the office or at the bank or
Mhm.
somewhere, but not really in the field, or maybe in a greenhouse and never get to experience the field side of it. So agriculture is way more than just farming or the production level.
Mm.
Hmm. I like that. Agriculture is deeper than what think you're wearing your greens and your khakis and you're dirty all day, but there's actually more to agriculture, like our doctor has said. I like the fact that she's young, doc, and I like the fact that our show is listened to by a lot of young people. So I'm hoping there's someone out there listening thinking, actually, I can as well. I can become something in agriculture. So now this ties in directly with your theme. In our show, we give people the liberty to choose the theme. Tell us what your theme is. And you said your mind can either be your strength or your weakness. The choice is yours. I like the choice being yours in particular. Take us through that. What made you choose this theme?
Okay, that theme resonates with me very deeply, um, because it highlights the importance of or the power of your mindset.
Yeah.
And it actually shows us that your your thoughts and your attitude can actually shape your actions or your outcome. So you actually decide what your outcome would be by actually monitoring your thoughts and your actions. You understand?
Mm.
So you can decide that you see things as just challenges, or you can decide to see them as an opportunity to resolve those challenges. That's why
Mm.
I'm saying the choice is yours. And if
Mm,
you see it as negative, you wouldn't even try to resolve it. But if you see it as an opportunity and you bring along a positive attitude, you will be able to overcome whatever challenge comes your way.
Mm.
mm.
Beautiful,
That's
beautiful.
so profound. We like my co-host has already said, we also do learnerships, right? And you meet a lot of youngsters, and they come from not so great backgrounds, and some of them didn't go that far in school. They're actually very much prepared to throw in the towel. Now, when you tell them that you can decide and you can, the choice is yours, they think you are talking from a place of comfort, not knowing that every one of us had to make a choice one way or the other. What would you say to them, going back to the theme? What would you say to a youth who's now ready to throw in the towel, and doesn't think or believe that the choice is actually theirs to make?
Okay. Thank you. I actually want to use my experience as an example to show that really your mindset will determine where you will go in life. So in 2015, that was yeah, in 2015 I had to do my first year, but I didn't have funds to actually go to school and study. But like in my school, I was one of the top two, and we had received laptops. So I had a laptop, but I didn't have registration fee. And I was like, why not go sell this laptop so that I can have money for registration fee? And I told my sister about it, but because my laptop was new and nice, so she exchanged it and was like, let's sell my laptop, her laptop, instead of mine. And she also like contributed some money and I was able to register. And from there, I talked to okay, I was one of the modules that I was doing was English during my first year. And I remember I wrote a letter and asked my lecturer by then to review it and tell me what I should change, because I was writing a letter to the rector. It was Prof Youngson by then. right? And she wrote, like, she was like, okay, I have a friend, and her friend, I don't know, I think she was working in the rector's office or somewhere, and she helped me to get the letter to the rector. And the rector was like, call me to come in and to see him. And we talked, and said he will see where he will get the money to help me, to help fund my studies. And I think 4 days or 3 days down the line, I got a call that the rector has paid for everything. I should move on campus, and everything was paid just like that.
Oh my
What
goodness.
does this show? This shows us that if it was someone, they could have just said, "Well, I don't have the money.
Mm,
What can I do?" You understand? But you should
mm,
sit down and check what resources do you have, what can you do, and if you can't do something with what you have, then go ask for help from somebody else. And by
Mm.
doing that, you will be able to overcome the challenges that comes your way. You will be able.
Absolutely. I love that story. I wish I could, we could go a little bit further to understand what the content of the letter was. Whatever it was strong enough to persuade, the rector to really come to the party. I just love that beautiful story. I just want to recognize some people who are watching. I can see Evans Murray, who's saying he's watching from Kenya. His story is inspiring. Thank you so much, Evans, for watching. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we want to touch on your journey towards your PhD, because you've just received your PhD not so long ago, and you are doctor. And I like it because you were saying you are not even used to be called doctor. We want you to tell us a little bit about your journey towards your PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. This is the African Experience. We take a short commercial break. Wow, 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 wow. Welcome back. This is the African
Thank
Experience. We are talking to a very inspiring young lady. Yeah, I think young lady, Dr. Alina. Hmm. She was still telling us, how she came into agriculture, and she wanted to study medicine, and fast forward, she has a very inspiring story. She had studied, she went abroad, she studied up to PhD. She has a doctorate in sustainable agriculture. Young as she is, we want to ask you what inspired you to study further? Because people will study, they go to masters and they have arrived, but you wanted to study further. How was your journey like, and how did it feel, for you to finally, wear, that, red gown?
Definitely. So, what motivated me to continue furthering my studies was that I wanted to be a specialist in what I do. I wanted to know more and to be really a specialist. And also, I wanted to work abroad, and understanding that if you want to work abroad, you have to really further your studies. It's very important to further your studies and be a specialist in what you do, so that you are competitive enough for them to select you. So, my PhD journey was challenging and rewarding. That's what I can say. And what made it to be doable or to be enjoyable and much more, not so difficult, was the fact that I made my research a community project in a way. I involved, like, I was working with different people. I was working with extension offices. I was working with the University of Free State. There's a department that is called postgrad department. I think they changed the name, but it used to be postgraduate school. So they normally have webinars for postgraduate students, people who are doing research, and they take you through your research, basically from how to write your proposal, coming up with a topic, literature review, data processing, everything, like all throughout that process, they are with you, all the steps. And that really helped me. And the other thing that actually helped me with my research or with my PhD journey is having or surrounding myself with mentors. That is very, very, very crucial. I would advise people who are in research, not even in research, like it's very useful to have mentors in your life because they really help to guide you, to show you light, you know. And one more thing that is, these are not only things that help me, but the things that come to my mind right now. The other thing that also helped me was to actually go to other people who are also doing research so that I can find out what they are doing and how they did it, or people who are actually had just finished their PhD. One of them was Dr. Sebastian, who was also really helping me a lot. Where I experienced problems, I would just go to him and be like, "How did you overcome this? What were you doing?" And he would really link me with people who would really assist me. And I remember when I got my PhD, I was still in the US. I was working in the US at Kinamasat Farm. And just before I got received my results, I went to my boss by then and I told him that I'm waiting for my results. I'm gonna, I'm really excited. And he was like, okay, so what do you want after your PhD? Like, if you get it, like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, oh, I want you to take us and other colleagues out, and yeah, I remember the time when I got it. Oh, what a journey. I was so happy. I was so excited. I went to the farm owner, I went to the manager actually, and I showed him that I just got my results and I made it. And that was a very nice day at the farm. Trust me, that was a very nice day at the farm. I remember my the farm manager by then, he said to me, that day I should select whatever that I want to do. Like if don't want to work with crops, that day I'm not working with crops. If I want to work with animals, then I go work with animals. So it was a very like beautiful journey because the people that I was with, they helped me to actually celebrate this achievement and coming home with such good news and having to, graduate and be there for my graduation as well. I was so, so, so happy because um, just before I got it, I was a bit concerned that I might not be able to go and wear my red gown and go to Kali Human, because I was
Mm.
working abroad. Got an opportunity to be there physically, and that actually really made not just my day, but my whole year in general. So 2023 was very
Sure.
nice, especially December.
That is so beautiful. You know what? It's so I can even see the excitement and the feeling when you are talking. You can tell that this is a huge milestone, and I must tell you, I commend you for that. PhD, it's not a child's play. I'm still struggling with my master's. I don't know. I want to move to PhD because it's crazy. So, you know what? I commend you 100%. And there are people online who are actually confirming what we are talking about. One, Michael Tokwa, says she is what she made herself to be. It's all about the power of the mind. And Imam Sebeti is actually saying, you know what, you go, girl. I'm very proud of you. So this is really testament to you saying, you need to surround yourself with people, positive people who are allowing you to flourish in your chosen space. And I see the beautiful, dog here. You know what? It's so nice seeing the youngsters now graduating with the red gowns. Look at that pose. Look at
I
that
know.
pose. I'm telling you, Beautiful, beautiful. So, what was going through your mind when he said, today, choose what you want to do? If you don't want to talk animal, don't talk animal. If you don't want to touch crops, don't touch crops. What went through your mind? And the fact that you were in the US, how was that making you feel? Who did you call at home? Take us through that experience.
I was so happy. I was so excited that day. I can't recall everything because of the excitement that day. I was pretty early for work. Yeah, I remember I was early for work. Like I was one of the first people who got there, and I was like, "Look what I have." I actually didn't say, "Oh, I got my patient." I went there with my phone, like, "Okay, look what I have," and I was like, "What
Hello.
is that? Read what it is." And then he was like, "Oh my word, wow!" And he was so happy for me. And then he said, "Okay, I can choose whether I want to work with crops or animals." Trust me, I love both of them. I love both of them. But I wanted to work with animals. And then he said I can also go work with at the store. So at the farm where I used to work at Knamset Farm, we had animals, we have flowers, plants, crops. We're planting outside the tunnels and also in the tunnels, and we also have a store where we actually sell our products. So we process, we deliver, and we also, so there's a whole chain at the farm. So he also said, today you don't have to get so dirty, you can also go to the store and there. So I went to the store that day, and I was working at the store, and it was so nice working at the
Yeah.
store because when there's no client, then I can be on my phone and say, "Hey, I just got my results and I passed." So it was like
Mhm.
just a beautiful day, and I had like made friends in the US. So people would come and be like, "You were waiting for your result. Did you get them?" I'm like, "Yeah, I passed." It was so beautiful. It was
I
it
can
was
imagine.
yeah.
Madla,
It
I
was
can
a
imagine that feeling. I'm saying that because I know when I received mine. I mean, that was back then. I mean, the feeling. Even today, when I look at that card, I'm like, okay, is that me?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful feeling indeed. Let me recognize, some of the people that are joining us online. Thank you so much. I think that is Leah, who says, that's my friend. Very proud of you, babe. Oh, and Veronica Majola also, I'm very proud of you, my friend. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stories. Mandla, I agree with you. That pose, I think we just asked DJ Messi to show that again because it's like you were modeling, DJ Messi, just show us, not that one, the other
Wow.
one, the other. I just love that
Talk
pose.
about
That
beauty
one.
with
Look at that.
brains. This is so nice. This is beautiful. I mean, and we need to recognize, Doc, this is
Yeah.
someone. She's so fearless. She decided, no, my internships, learnerships, whatever I don't do them here. I'm gonna do them in the US. I'm like, no, this girl has arrived. I'm telling you, I'm so motivated. And you are so fearless in your approach. But now that you have your PhD, now
Mandla,
that
maybe
you
Mandla,
have,
before you continue with that, because
mhm.
remember she said when we asked her what inspired you to even pursue your
Yes.
PhD, she said because I
Mhm.
wanted to travel. I knew that with
Really?
my PhD it will allow me to
Mm.
travel, and there she was. Oh,
Sure. So now
mm.
that you have it, what's your interest of research? Where do you want to take this?
Okay. Um, my interest in research is agroecology. It's
Mhm.
climate management. It is policy development, international developments. Those four are like my big interest right now. Mainly because I want to help to end hunger, to improve food security, and not just like in Africa or just South Africa, but globally. And I need to not just know only agriculture, but also the impact of climate on agriculture, just so that I can help to develop much more inclusive or sustainable approaches or strategies that can help with agricultural um, productivity to be more efficient.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to a powerhouse here. I'm just inspired about her story, her journey, how she acquired her PhD, and how she actually prophesied to say, I want to study because I want to go abroad. I want to increase my chances of being competitive, out there. And yes, she did that. We're going to take yet another commercial break. When we come back, we want to tap your brain because, yes, then you went to the US. So instead of, coming back to South Africa, we saw you in Rome, Italy. So we want to, we want you to take us through this, traveling. You're in the US, you're working on the farm. You move from working from the farm and you go to the policy level and stuff. That for me, it's something that I want to hear from the horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a commercial break. Don't go away. This is the African Experience.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Yes, that's Africa nakupenda sana. This is the African Experience. We are with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. With my co-host, Mandla Aventina Mabunda. And we are talking to such a beautiful, beautiful soul with a beautiful story. Yes, so before we went on an ad break, you were still talking about your experience at the University of Florida in the US. And from there, did you come home or did you just move from there to Rome? How did that happen? And what were you doing in Rome? Because we have seen some pictures of you there.
Okay, great. So I was in the US doing my internship at Kunamasat Farm, right? And I had to, and then I got an offer from International Fund for Agricultural Development. So I had to leave my internship ended so that I could go join and start working for IFAD. So I was working with IFAD and a department that is called AR4D, which is Agricultural Research for Development. And basically what we were doing is working abroad. Like basically it's the projects that IFAD has globally. We monitor them, we check the impact that it has on food security or whatever project that it was focusing on. And we develop policy briefs. We write policy briefs, we write papers. Mainly it was about research in agriculture.
Mm-hmm. And IFAD, that is they're in Rome. They are part of the whole UN system, right?
Exactly. So IFAD is part of, it's actually a UN agency. It is a sister of FAO and WFP. Those are the three sisters of the UN agencies.
Yeah, that are there, that are focusing on agriculture. I mean, for the people that do not know, I think, those are the Rome-based agencies that are focusing on, agriculture and well, such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Maybe one thing, so, and my co-host Mandla was alluding to that. Here you are, you study in South Africa, you decide to go and do an internship abroad. We know that working at the UN and things like that is a highly competitive space. Then, first of all, how did you get to know about these internships abroad, and how did you go about accessing that? I'm asking this because there might be somebody who's listening and they have a vision to do that, but they wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay, so in 2019, I was working for Land Bank, and I was working with the other intern. I was doing my internship there actually, and I was working with Koketso. So Koketso had an interview with Future Farmers, which is an agency here in South Africa that places people internationally, like abroad, if you are in agricultural sector. So you can write them an email, or you can write them an email. You can find their details online. You can just search future farmers, and then you can write to them, and they will guide you with they will tell you what is the process. So she had an interview with them, and I was like, oh my word, I'm also interested. I actually want to go abroad as well. And then she gave me the email address. The application was still open, luckily. So we went to the interview together. And then because of COVID hit, so I couldn't travel for about 2 or 3 years. And then I could only travel last year. And then when I was actually, before I could even go to the US, I was really wanting an opportunity to work abroad, more especially with like big international organizations like IFAD, like World Bank, like FAO, international companies. And I was already like being proactive, searching online, keeping myself updated. What do they do? What do they want? What should I have so that they find me competitive? And then I saw they had an offer, and I applied for it online, and fortunately I got it. So they have opportunities on their website. And what's nice with them is that you can register your CV, and they can check if you qualify for any other opportunities, not just one opportunity, but for any opportunity that comes that is in your discipline or in your set, they can consider you for it. You do qualify for it. And if there's anyone who want information on getting an internship abroad, I actually have a YouTube channel which I used to give people information about agriculture. I started it when I was in the US. I was educating farmers because during my PhD, I actually realized that a lot of smallholder farmers are not so sufficient, not because they need resources or they need money, but because they're lacking skills. So I was using it to equip them with information, with skills, and not just them, but everyone who is in the sector. So I do have a video specifically for helping people to get internships abroad. And yeah, my YouTube channel name is Alina Ntsiapane. If you just search Dr. Alina Ntsiapane, you'll get the information and a lot of videos that you can benefit from.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And I think a lot of our youth, I mean, can benefit from such information. Now, you are such a fearless woman. I must say that. You just, you know what, you're not scared of anything. You think about it, you execute, and you move. Now, I'm interested, how was the culture shock? You went to the US and you're on your own, you're in a foreign country, far away from home, from friends, from how did you navigate that?
So what was nice with the US was that I went there through an agency, right, which is Future
Mhm,
Farmers. So they had already organized for me a place to stay, and they
mhm,
had already organized, like, literally everything was done. I knew who to go to, who to talk to if
mhm,
I was struggling with anything. And what made things very easy was that if you check the culture of South Africa, or like, and then you go to US, you'll find them very not so judgmental, but easy to get
mhm,
along with. Like, they're
mhm,
very inclusive. Regarding differences, you find a lot of black people where I was. You find a lot of black people, and what was nice is that they speak English, so I could communicate with them very easily. The food, I love food, so it wasn't really a
mhm,
shock. I was actually looking forward to food. So there wasn't really, I didn't feel much of a shock, but when I went
mhm,
to Europe, when I went to Italy, then I felt the culture shock.
mhm,
One, because not everybody speaks English. Actually, the majority of people don't speak English. They use Italian, and even like when you buy things in a store, everywhere is like written in Italian. You can find places where they write Italian and English, especially if you um, at the metro, like public transport, you will get an option of English so that you can understand where you're going, things like that. But if you go to stores, it's only Italian. So you might end up, if you don't use your Google Translate or you don't know Italian, then you might end up buying something else instead of something like I did. So the first time when I went there, I went to do groceries, and I knew I could use Google Translate, but I just didn't want to use it because I could see like the products. Well, that's what I thought. So I wanted to buy cooking oil, and I bought vinegar. Why?
Oops.
Because the vinegar it's yellowish. It looks like cooking oil for me. Like when you're looking at it, it looks like cooking oil. So I just picked it because in South Africa I've never seen a yellowish vinegar. I've only seen like the blackish one and the one that is like looks like water, you know. So yeah, you need to try to understand Italian, or use your Google Translate, and yeah. So when I got there, I got a lot of culture shock, and it was totally different,
Oh,
totally
that
different.
that is interesting. Mandla and I, we visit, Rome occasionally. I think for me since 2015, because I just go in, I'm there for a week. I come back, and because I'm interacting, with people within the UN building, and so I don't get to experience, that culture shock because I don't live there. But there was something very interesting that once happened when I was there at the UN building. I wanted to go to the bank, within the building, and somebody will not speak English. They said, no, no, you have to speak in the Italian. I'm like, okay. So did you even learn maybe a few words in Italian, maybe?
Well, I did learn few of them, but I didn't want to learn Italian because at the moment I'm learning Spanish. So I didn't want to confuse
Okay,
myself because they're very similar. And I
I
thought
see.
if I'm learning two languages that are almost similar, I might really get confused and not know what am I speaking. So yes, like
Mhm.
how to greet and say a few things, I had to learn. I had to learn to make things easy for me. Yeah.
Yeah. DJ Messi, I think we were looking for some pictures. I think there are some pictures which she took. I think she was in Rome. There's a picture with a lot of flags and things like that. Do you want to show that? Ah, there we go. Uh, where were you there?
Okay, here I was at FAO, and like I said, so FAO is like a sister organization like to EFAD. So
Mm,
my badge that I used to enter EFAD, I can also use it to enter FAO. So I was working
mm,
from FAO on this day.
Mandla, do you recognize that, my sister?
Yes, I remember that place very well. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. I'm listening, looking at this young, beautiful woman who's a top achiever, and I'm thinking, there's so much that we still need to do, especially as a country in moving our youth forward and propelling them into the world. We still have a lot to do. And I like that she likes paying it forward with her YouTube channel. So if there's
Mm,
anyone out there who really want to explore the agricultural space, please log into YouTube, look for Dr. Alina, and then she will probably pop up and go in there and get learned and go to, all these countries where more opportunities are found. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing your experiences with the youth of our country. Now, after all these things, and there's no stopping you. Now, what is your most, what is your biggest or most proudest moment or some of your achievements in your life thus far?
Okay. My proudest moment is not really known. Um, it was during my PhD, like when I got the opportunity to travel to those smallholder farmers and to train them. I felt so good. That was so rewarding for me. Even though a lot of people didn't see it, they didn't know about it, but it was so fulfilling to me. It felt like I won an award, And then one of the biggest achievements that I received was ILRI. Um, so with ILRI, I had to present my PhD study in 3 minutes, and this was an international competition, and I won. So that was one of my big achievements, making sure that I am able to talk my research in a way that a layman can understand it, and in such limited time. That was very rewarding for me. I really, it was an honor. And the other one is having an opportunity or being honored or with an award of being top in the top 200 of young South Africans by Mail and Guardian. That was really an honor. I also felt very honored to be selected as one of those youth.
Okay, so hold on to that. DJ Messi, show us those pictures because we saw two pictures, with your maiden guardian, and that is a recent thing, 2024, right?
Yes,
Where,
this was
where,
this
mm,
was um this was actually last is it last this was yes last month. I was still in Rome when I heard about this. So they only told me that I am a finalist and I'm not supposed to say anything about it, right?
mm,
And they said I should come just in case I won. And I was like, how can I leave if, I wasn't really sure that I got
mm,
it. And I was like, okay. And then the results came out. The following day, when I was working at FAO, that day, you remember like the picture that you played before this one? That
mm,
day, I was at FAO working in the library and I saw an email. And then I checked online on YouTube and then I saw my face. Actually, it was the first face that was being showed on stage, and I was like, wait, are they showing all the finalists? For a second, I was confused. I was like, did I
mm,
win or am I shown as as a finalist?
mm.
And yeah, and then I got to receive that. No, actually, I did, make it to the top 200.
Wow. So for somebody who's listening, this Mail and Guardian, what is it all about? Is it a nomination? How does it work? How does it work?
Okay, so with Mail and Guardian, it's actually about nomination. So you
Mm,
get nominated by people who probably know you better because they have to nominate you and answer a few questions. Why are they nominating you? And then
mm,
after about if you get if they think that you did make a very good impact into the society, then you will get shortlisted in a way, and then you also get to be asked a few questions, and then you have to answer them, and then from those answers,
mhm,
then they also like check your background. What impact did you do? What things did you do for the community or for South African
mm,
community? And then
mm.
you can be selected from that.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Congratulations, by the way, because that is still nice and fresh. I see
Thank you.
Refilwe Peku also agrees. He says, indeed, bold moves made by Dr. Alina. One can see this on her career track thus far. Big up. I agree with you. I couldn't really agree with you more, Refilwe. Really, I mean, just from your story, and the theme that you have chosen for tonight, I see consistency there. Your theme, you're talking about your mind and it's your responsibility and all that. And all the things that you have achieved so far, it shows that person who doesn't see problems but see challenges that need to be resolved or solved, and you're always looking for the next window of opportunity, and you take it and run with it. I think that is something that stands out for me from the conversation. What do you think, Mandla? What stands out for you from this conversation?
There is no stopping this girl. That's what is, when they talk about the future reimagined, this is
Mm,
what it, I mean, starting with how she's posing with her gown. I
mm,
mean, a lot of PhD holders are very much conservative in the way they display their gowns, doc. So now this is a game changer. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait really to see her and talk to her 2, 3 years from now and see the strides that she would have made. And on that note, how do you relax, my dear? How do you take time and unwind and now just be yourself?
Yes. Okay. It's funny because I have passion for my work. It's basically what helps me to de-stress, which is working with nature. Even though
Mm,
I'm not at work, I'll be at my place. I'll probably be irrigating,
mm,
be watering like my flowers, or maybe playing with my dog, or just something related to nature. And the other thing that I do to relax is to spend time with family, friends. I love that a lot. And the other one is traveling. I love traveling. And the other thing is I love modeling as well. So if I get an opportunity or a gig, I really like to spend my time doing that.
okay. Um, where do you find your strength? What is your source of your strength? Because definitely you appear to be somebody who has some inner strength, somewhere. Where do you get that? What is your source of your strength?
The source of my strength, I would say it's God, you
Mm,
know,
mm,
and my family, my friends, my mentors as well. Surround the people who are surrounding me, who are actually like vouching for me.
mm,
Those people keep me going. Their belief,
mm,
their support in me, like I really appreciate that, and that keeps me going.
mm,
Hmm. That is so nice. Now, let's picture a youth in our show, the African Experience. Normally, like I said, it's the youth that listen to the show, right? Looking for an inspiration and looking maybe for a career path of some sort. Now, if there's one such a person, girl, boy, sitting somewhere, we normally would say sitting Agiani somewhere in a village, but listening to us, what would you like to say to that person?
I would like to tell them that their dreams are achievable,
mm,
and for them to achieve them, it's up to them. They
mm,
have to do something. And I would also tell them that sometimes you don't have enough resources or don't know how to go about it. It's very important to have mentors in your life, to have to be brave enough to also go ask if you don't understand something. Go knock on those doors. Some of them will be open and you never know what you will get once they open. And
mm,
the other thing that I would say is that sometimes people I know that they don't want to volunteer, but I would really like to say to our youth out there, please take every opportunity that comes your way, regardless of how small it looks like. Because one thing that I've learned working abroad is that they take volunteering as an experience. So you thinking you're just doing it for nothing? No, other people out there they do count it as experience, and you
mm,
never know who you're gonna meet while you are volunteering out there, who will
mm.
probably change your life or link you with somebody who will change your life.
Okay, now you're back in South Africa. You said you are in Bloemfontein. What are you up to now? How does it look like? What are you doing? Where do you see yourself in the next, 3 to 5 years? And where do you see yourself?
Okay, right now I am in Bloemfontein. I am spending time with my family, my friends, and I don't want to be busy, be bored. So I try to keep myself busy with few things. Right now I am trying to improve my languages, my international languages like Spanish and other languages, so that I can be more competitive, because I told you I love to work in international companies and I must be able to speak other languages. So that's what I'm busy with. I'm also preparing for I'm preparing for a conference in Namibia that I have to go to in about less than 2 weeks actually. So that's what I'm busy with at this moment.
What conference is it?
That is Rufora.
Ah, I'll meet you there.
Oh, great,
Oh yeah,
great, great. That is great. I'll see you there, Doc. Yes, so
absolutely.
that's what I am preparing for. I'm
She is such an amazing, amazing woman of virtue. Hey, Doc, I'm so inspired about her story.
I am. Me too. Actually, I'm just looking at when I first met her, this young woman, and how she has grown, how she has grown not only in intellectually, but how she articulates herself. You can see
Mm,
that, she's really preparing herself to be a global citizen, and she is really a global citizen. She's learning Spanish, my dear.
yeah,
Oh, look at those pictures. Look at that. Look at that.
this
Sure.
is so amazing. Are you back, Dr. Alina, with us?
Yes, I am back. Sorry, I lost my voice.
Yes.
Yes, I am
Yeah,
back.
you know what? Now I wish I was also coming to Namibia with you guys. I'm sure you guys will have a great time. And on
We
that
will
note,
send you some pictures, Mandla. We'll send you some pictures.
please do. As we are starting, Women's Month, it's quite inspiring. I think we got off in a very good start, Doc. And I wonder, what goes through your mind when you think of this, days like your Women's Month, and you're thinking of a girl child and where you started as a girl and the challenges that a girl faces, especially in Africa? What would you want to talk to such a girl who's sitting somewhere so she's disgruntled, and she has lost hope for life, discouraged? What advice would you tell this girl?
I would tell them that they shouldn't lose hope. There are so many opportunities out there, and they might not be in your country, but they are there.
Mm,
What you need to do is to always try to learn, continuous learning. Be prepared for continuous learning, and also be proactive. If you don't find opportunities, ask around, like I said. Ask around, ask people, and attend conferences. Reach out to people, have mentors who will help to guide you, who will show you the way. And that way, you will be able to get something that is for you out there.
Wow, wow. I just love that picture. Manda, when you're
mm,
saying her poses, look at that picture, with the books. You can see that that is the beauty with brains. Let me go to the lines, justly what, oh, I can't read that, uh, Itavelen or something. Yeah, Alina, my classmate. I'm so inspired by you. You are doing so great. We are waiting for you in Namibia. Yes, I'm also coming to
Right.
Namibia. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
meet you there. Thank you so much. Alina, we, when we're having fun on this show, the time just, fly, and we are just left with just less than a minute. What is your parting shot? Something that is in your heart that you didn't manage to say, but also where people can find you.
Okay. I would say that they can find me on Instagram, on social media. Instagram, you just type my name and my surname, Alina Ntsiapane, and you will find me on Instagram, on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You just using my name and my surname. That's it.
Mm.
And don't, if you feel like you need to talk to me about anything, you can just DM me. Yeah, just DM me. I'm not saying call me. Just DM me and I will get back to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for really making this hour to spend with us. We really appreciate it. And we hope, there is a child, an African child, a woman, a young man, and who are inspired by your story. And we can see that, there are a lot of, people that are inspired by that. Thank you so much. And thank you to my beautiful co-host, Mandla Aventina Mabunda, and our DJ Messi. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have time for tonight. Next week, woo, we have a good lineup for the Women's Month. You don't want to miss that. Let's meet again here on this platform next week in the same time. Thank you so much and God bless.
Thank you.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.